Oh my lord, what a game! What a game! Uh, Latifa's spooky performance. Okay, um, listen. We're here for the match reaction to the Salford 1, Leeds United 1 game in the Carabao Cup. Salford go through 9-8 on penalties, man. Oh man, this is another one of those where we were all over them in the main game. But there were certain defensive things that they did, and Alex Cairns, shout out to him, our old goalkeeper, where you just think, fair play. It's one of those where you say fair play. I'm disappointed though, because I'm always disappointed to go out of cups. I never want to exit the cups. I fully believe you can go on a cup run and go for promotion, but it's not to be in the Carabao Cup, and we're not the only ones to go out tonight, obviously. But it's disappointed only on the basis of that the fringe players of this team, there's a few of them that didn't do enough for me today. Even a couple of the starters were shocking too, if we're being honest. But some of the role players where you're hoping that they're going to grab the chance, grab the opportunity to say, you know what, Leeds, you don't need to go out and get another 10. You don't need to go out and get another left back. I can do this job. They didn't cover themselves in glory today. Um, what we saying? What we saying? It was Damar, yeah. Worst part about it was we actually put out a strong team. Very strong in comparison, wasn't it? It was very strong. I mean, there was a few changes here and there, but when you starting with Somerville, Nanto, Jorginho, you should be able to do okay. And we still went with Gray and Ampadu. You know what? Let's go into it. Let's go into it. Because I want to get your thoughts. Really, it's more your thoughts as well about the sub about the role players of the team. Now, Darlow, I see a lot of people say, he didn't get near any of the penalties. He did get to some of them, but they just went through his hands, man. They went through his hands like butter. It was mad. But the penalty shootout was the penalty shootout, and that is a lottery. But yeah, Darlow, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, their goal for me, Pascal. We saw the best and not the best, but we saw the good and bad of Pascal today in terms of their goal. He was not strong enough to clear it out to begin with. He put a weak header up into the air across the box, which then went out for a corner, and then Matt Smith put him on a poster. It wasn't even close, and that's why I'm disappointed with Pascal over the past couple of years. The aggression just isn't there. The aggression to want to win that ball at no matter whatever the cost. It's just not there with Pascal. But look, it is what it is. We see him then get the equalizer. I've always said with Pascal, I believe he should be up to like 5 goals a season from set pieces. And I think he's more than capable of doing that in the opposition box. And he was there, he poked it through 1-1. Cool. Um, but Yelder, what's your thoughts on Yelder, people? Just we'll get through some of the other players. I see some of the players getting a bit of stick. Okay, hold on, calma. What did you guys think of Yoda on the whole? And yeah, we'll talk about drama probably in the Jed Spence segment. We'll probably talk about him there. Mr. Tom saying disappointed in the defenders not being switched on in the first half. Well, I mean, look, it's not just from tonight, but it's a continuation. I mean, this is a stat that we've got courtesy of LUFC data. Leeds have now kept just five clean sheets in our last 50 matches across all competitions, the lowest amount in the top 4 tiers of the English League of Football. It's just not good enough, people. That's just not good enough, and that's why we still need to recruit on the defensive side. So okay, yeah. In regards to Yoda, I thought he looked out of his depth last. Okay, JP saying I think Yoda was okay, just played it very safe. Keith just saying I'm Pascal. I was going to say, what is it with Pascal? The lack of aggression, attacking and defensively, so lacking. Too much of a nice guy. Yeah, that's it, Keith. He's too nice. He needs to be he has got so much stature and presence, Pascal Strauch, and anyone that's seen him in person will see that too. But he doesn't use any of it, man. It's disappointing. Look, Matt Smith can put a lot of people on the poster, true, but Matt Smith is where he is for a reason. You're supposed to be on the verge of international call-ups. You should be better than that. And it was just weak. That's the best I can explain it for Pascal. Yeah, this is it. Lou. Okay, I'm not going to say that last name, but Yoda gets caught ball watching too often. Yeah. And again, on that left hand side, it is such a weak point, and that's why I hope we do complete the deal for Luke Thomas, because we had instances in the first half where look, the plan again was Nanto and Prez. It was just like in the Premier League, people. It was all Nanto in the first half. But when Yoda was overlapping, he got in across one time. The rest of it, it was checking back. It just wasn't fluid for Yoda on that left hand side. And I just don't think it was his greatest outing. I don't know. That's just me. Um, we'll go on. Who shall we go on to next? I thought Charlie was fine. Talk about Shackleton, Shroud, Amp are doing great, and that's why. By the way, that's why we need some more options in there. Because for me, Amp are doing great shouldn't be near this game. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but when I saw them starting again, I thought, oh, couldn't we have just got Greenwood and JB or Bate even to start this game? I think that they could have done with a rest from the start in this one. And even Ampadu towards the end was looking a little bit leggy. There was a time near the end where he didn't track back properly because I think he was just tired. I think they could have done with the game off, but that's what will happen once we get the midfield reinforcements in. Okay, let's talk about him because he's coming up. Buey, I hope not. I hope not Buey, and that's why we have to manage him well. That's why I always say to people when they say when we bring in a new midfielder, who is he going to replace? Is it Ampadu or Gray? No, you've got to keep these players fresh, especially a youngster. We have to keep him fresh, otherwise he will burn out. He 100% will, because his physicality will always be there. He's a young guy, but it's up here where you start to get mentally tired, and once that happens, mistakes can be made. That's why it's important we get some reinforcements there. Sam here, get Gelhardt, get out of the club. If we're a serious club, he needs to leave. He was where I was going to go next, man, because I was very disappointed with Joe Gelhardt today. And this is somebody that I've championed before. And it was right to champion him at the time because he literally was one of the better performers in that season where we just stayed up. He just wasn't getting enough minutes at the time. But he has not grabbed any of these opportunities by the scruff of the neck. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but he was on for 60 minutes today. And in the first half, when we was linking up between Nanto, Rutter, Somerville, he had a chance where he tried to swing on it with his left foot, and it just went weakly wide. And it's like, Joe, you've got to take these opportunities. You're not going to play the 9. That's okay. What can you do for us in the 10? And he didn't do enough for me, people. I mean, what is your thoughts? Jack saying he was rubbish, cagey passes going loose. That's again, yeah, such sloppy build-up play. You know, if you're a 10, you've got to be the glue, and he was not the glue today. It was just rolling off him, or he wasn't getting to the passes. Nate saying Jaffe at Norwich, Brighton, Wolves was a different player. Sad times, he was my golden boy. Yeah, it doesn't work out for every hot prospect, does it? Sometimes they shoot to the moon. Sometimes their development takes a bit longer. Now, this isn't to say Joe Gelhardt is finished or anything, you know, by any stretch of the imagination. But for me, he's not doing enough. And we're in the championship now where he needs to show that, hey, you don't need Amiri. You don't need anybody else now. Now the Amiri deal is off. I can do this for you. But he's not showing it for me. Okay, you could go. German saying Jaffe peaked 2 seasons ago. Okay. Ryan saying he's had enough chances now, KG. Okay. Okay, yeah, listen. We'll move on from that. Just leave your comments below about more the role players as well. Did they take their opportunities? Did they make you think that we don't need to replace them in the squad? Let me know. Jorginho today, I don't think he did enough as well. And I'm not just talking about the penalty. I mean, that penalty was soft as hell. I just don't feel like he did enough today. I was hoping that he would just go on today off a roll off the last game versus Ipswich and just take this game and get a couple goals or an assist here and there. But apart from a couple of flashes of brilliance that he's always going to have because he does have that talent level, the finishing just wasn't good enough from him today. But that's not to say it's not going to get better in the next game or anything else like that. But it was disappointing from him tonight. He did that did happen as well with Famous E saying Rutter flat 2 good counter attacks. Yeah, there was one. Oh my days, I think we was basically 5 against 3 and he just made the wrong choice of pass. It's like, how did you get that so wrong? But you know, there we go. That's it. Nightcrawler. I knew you'd be here. Any criticism you're about, Nightcrawler? Listen, I don't know about that Leon deal. We'll need to see if there's anything else to it. I haven't seen any other credible source talk about it except for Sky Sports. Um, Chris here saying Darlow, Yoda, Shackleton, Jaffe, Greenwood all shouldn't be playing for Leeds in 2023. Not good enough in the Championship. Okay. What I will say though, I know Shackleton missed the deciding penalty, but again, penalties are a lottery. I actually thought Jamie Shackleton was overall the best player today. Nanto in the first half looked like he was the most dangerous, but a complete performance today. I thought Jamie Shackleton was it. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that, but Shackleton today wasn't just running around like a Labrador, like a busy dog. He was actually going past the overlap. He was putting balls across the box, trying to make things happen. I thought he was pretty good today. What's people saying? Yep, agree. Okay, yep. Chris Plum saying Shackleton definitely best tonight. I thought so too. Damar saying Shaqs was decent, not going to get carried away. You got to just judge it by the game, Damar, and he was good today. In fact, he's making a good case for himself so far to be a role player in this team, more so than Yelda has, and other players that have come in and just not done enough. Gelhart too. I think Jamie Shackleton has put up a good case to say I deserve to be in this squad. Yep, a lot of people saying agree with him being good. Yeah, and yeah, okay, utility player in this league. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like going forward, he's going to be a good utility player. If we need some cover at left back, right back, central midfield, defensive midfield, he'll just slot in. And again, I think we need to talk about that. He started at right back, didn't he? And we can see on this graphic here that Drame was on the bench. And that coincides with this. Here we go. Smooth, smooth. Carl Brown here saying, thanks, KG. Thank you for the super chat, Carl Brown. Much appreciated. But yeah, a lot of Shaq's love here, man. This is what I do. I'm fair, man. Listen, if you're good on the day, I will give you all the flowers. And I thought he was our better player today. I do. Overall, I think he was our best player. But yeah, Nanto, Nightcrawler there just saying Nanto worked hard. He did. He was getting frustrated in the second half. Obviously, once we went behind and things weren't going our way, he had a couple penalty shots. They weren't penalties to me. You guys can have your opinions, but he just went off the boil a bit in the latter part of the second half. Whereas I thought Shackleton throughout the 98 minutes was a good presence. But yeah. But listen, we're moving on from the game. Anyway, actually, first off, shout out to Alex Kearns once again. Brilliant performance in goal. Obviously, Leeds fan, so he had extra motivation to play as well as he did, and he put on a Superman performance. I wish I could remember the defender's name. If anyone can remember it, please put it in the chat now. For Salford, who put that tackle on Sinistera when Sinistera was running through. People will say that Sinistera should have done better, but that was an excellent tackle, people. That is brilliant defending. Absolutely brilliant. So, shout out to Salford. I'm disappointed to go out the cup, but you know what? We move on, people, and we move on now to the rest of this transfer window. It might be number 4. I know. Ashley, you're right. It is. I think he scored the winning penalty, didn't he? I think he scored the winning penalty. I just missed it, but yeah, Ashley, yeah, brilliant tackle. That was an absolutely excellent tackle. I love that stuff. Full props to him, and contributed to Salford winning in the end. Yeah. Uh, who who did I say? Didn't I say Somerville? Who did I say? This is another one of these again, isn't it? I know it was Somerville, but did I say somebody else? I said Sinistera, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I can hear it now. Yeah, I said Sinistera. My bad, people. It was Somerville. It was definitely Somerville that got tackled. My bad. My bad, people. But yeah, listen, we're moving on now. Fabrizio and other outlets have confirmed Jed Spence has completed his medical test at Leeds United. Loan move from Spurs set to be signed. So this should be done tomorrow. Now, this is good news. This is great news. And going on further here, Leeds will allow Cody Drameh to leave on loan or permanent transfer. Drameh won't accept a new deal, and the arrival of Jed Spence clears the path for his move away. And for me, this is good all round. I think it's time Cody Drameh left. He's not going to get the opportunities here. It hasn't worked out. Nothing to do with anything behind the scenes or nothing. It just hasn't worked out for him here. And I think it's time that Leeds probably cashed in. I would prefer him to leave on a permanent than loan, because then it means that we'll probably get a nominal fee for him next summer. But yeah, Cody Drame is to leave, and it makes sense because quite frankly, Jed Spence clears both him, Ayling, Christensen, all of them at the same time. It's a game changing transfer. It's a absolutely game changing transfer. When you've got Premier League, I've got some Premier League supporters that follow me, and they're saying, "How have we not gone in for Jed Spence? We could do with a right back." And it's correct. Jed Spence should still be in the Prem. This is much like the Ethan Ampadu deal. So glad Leeds United are getting this one over the line, and hopefully it's confirmed tomorrow. Okay, confirmed tomorrow, because we got no time to waste, people. We need to move on to the midfield targets, especially with the Amiri one collapsing, which I'll go on to in a bit. But Jed Spence, excellent, excellent news. What we saying, people? Yeah, famous E. Jed Spence clears the league in fullbacks. I can't think of a better one. If you guys can think of a better one, I can't, because this is a game changer. Maybe Ricardo Pereira, but he's very injury prone for Leicester. Carl Walker Peters, maybe, yeah, maybe he's in the conversation, but he's definitely one of the best ones, and we've got him. We've got him, and I'm delighted, people. I'm absolutely delighted. Ryan here, is Farker going to put Spence at left back? Ayling is captain, so I think Farker will stick with him, unfortunately. No, the captain's armband shouldn't have that weight, Ryan, and I've said this so many times, but I know the captaincy at Leeds seems to be a different thing here. But you can be a captain, but you don't have to play. Mark Noble was proof of that. Harry Maguire's been proof of that at their respective clubs. No, put Jed Spence at right back where he's strong. I don't want to see Jed Spence at left back. And I don't think Jed Spence would sign here if he was to be told he's going to play left back. So Jed Spence is the first choice right back for me. And then hopefully we get in Luke Thomas as our other left back. That is a brilliant balance, people. Get the deals done, people. Got like 3 days left. Someone said Jed is overrated. Come on now. Tim here saying we are still so threadbare, a couple of injuries, and we are stuffed. It's true, Tim. The squad depth still needs work, and I think Leeds will be doing work with that in the next few days, definitely. Demar saying don't want to see Strike as captain. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. Low D just saying I'm puzzled why Yoda is. I mean, Low D, it's extremes that no one's hating Yoda. It's just that his performance didn't wow anybody. Yeah, we're not going to use hyperbole here. No one's hating on Yoda. It's just that it's quite obvious we need a left back. um, Render here. I can't put that one on screen. Need another striker in on loan. Injury to Perot, and we are screwed. Yeah, that's what I was crying out for tonight. There was so much good play. I mean, listen, let's not overlook the facts of tonight's game. I've always said the score is the one that matters in the end, but overall in the game, we were dominant overall, but we did miss a Joel Perot in there, and you just think without him, are we going to be a little bit toothless? But it's like I've said before, we're not always going to score 4 goals in every game. That's why we need to shore up the defense. And by the way, people, that's the 6th game in a row since that we've played this season. We've fallen behind in every single one. That has to change. That absolutely has to change. Yeah, for me, yeah, that's what I would do as well. UEL Ampadu captain. That it's an easy switch. He's a leader on the pitch as well. He's been a leader since he was young. That shouldn't change here. But yeah, so Jed Spence coming in, and we'll talk about that more when he's holding up the shirt tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. But let's go on to this one, because this saga is finally over. Thank God this saga is over. Phil Hay and many other outlets have picked it up, because it is, you know what, when you take off your sensitive Leeds glasses, it is quite a funny story when you really think about it. The guy's come over, he's looked around. Obviously, his agents have tried to add in money here and there, but he looked around Leeds and said, "You know what, man? Yeah, I don't want it, man." You know what I mean? It is funny when you look at it in that way, but Leeds United have formally withdrawn interest in Nadim Amiri after talks in England yesterday. Club, frustrated by additional demands made in discussions, flew him over but declined to pay for his flight home. Deal dead. And you know what, guys? I absolutely love that. That is great. We've flown him over, given him the courtesy to come over, talk through things, look around, get used to his surroundings, what he'll be in, what him and his new family will be in, because he's got a baby coming. And obviously the agents and have tried to add in a few things. They probably heard what was in the old people's contracts and thought they could get the same. And we've just said no. And that's good. This is how you do business. The 49ers, Daniel Farker, and this is what I said to people about not worrying about deals being on and off, because these guys will talk to these players and make sure that they've got it up here. And if they see that they're not ready up here, they'll just say, you know what, forget it. We're moving on. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Ryan saying no sign, no flight. You know what it is, Ryan? I actually think that they possibly would have paid for his flight back if the demands, if the additional or demands weren't so outrageous. Possibly. I mean, obviously, we don't know what's gone on in that room, but maybe they felt like the agent and the player were taking too many liberties with the deal, as if to say, no, I should be paid this, or if we say we're not top by Christmas, I can possibly go in January for this. Maybe it was something like that. I'm speculating here. There's no facts on that, and maybe maybe it left a sour taste in the mouth rather than a, you know what, I've looked around Leeds. I don't really fancy it, guys. Thank you so much for the hospitality, but I'm going to go back. Maybe if it ended more amicably, they would have sent a flight back for him. But you know what? It sounds like it ended pretty. It sounded like it ended pretty frosty, didn't it? Damar saying definitely flew in economy back to Germany. Yeah. Um. Well, let me just say 14-14. Let me just put this just to show that there's no bias here. 14-14 saying Yoda is a centre back. He's not getting a chance in his position. Fair, 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 fair. Ryan just saying true KG, right? Who knows? Yeah, no one really knows. It's just that if you're refusing to pay for his flight back, though, you've got to think that those talks ended a little frosty, no? A little bit frosty. But yeah. And is there an additional bit to this? There is. Um, this is the other bit, which is the funny bit to me. Club also unhappy with suggestions that the move fell apart because Amiri didn't like the city. Thought conversations with Farker had gone well and felt transfer would run into trouble before Amiri was photographed in the city centre. See, to me, that doesn't exactly tell you that he didn't not like the city. It didn't tell you that that was completely false, but it sounds like it was an additional thing. Doesn't that sound like that? Oh man. But yeah, listen, this one is finally over. We shouldn't hear any more about Amiri now. We move on to our next targets. I've seen the link for Matt O'Reilly. Again, it's from Sky Sports. So until it's given by somebody a bit more credible, I'll go into it then. But Matt O'Reilly, I've been reading that Celtic have told people where to go in regards to Matt O'Reilly. So I don't think that's going to happen. But it's going to be interesting to see who else we get. 100%. Um, yeah, SST. Maybe just a bad vibe. Yeah. Because for me, there's no other reason why you'd fly him out. And then just because he says no, even though you know there's a big chance he will say no, why you wouldn't just pay for his flight back? But I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna and I champion that 100%. Um, Jamie asking, why do we always concede first? Like it's like we give them a head start. Yeah. And this one was the most confusing today because we was literally all over them today. And then they get that one chance and score. But look, we've got to fix that. And it starts this weekend against Sheffield Wednesday. I don't want Sheffield Wednesday scoring this weekend, but of course, we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday when it's the preview. But yeah, SJ44 back on for tonight. As we come to a close tonight, prove we're desperate for depth. 100%, 100% SJ, and I hope that the board and Danny Farker knows that already. He's not stupid. I hope the board have realized that too. Going out on penalties, whatever you say, it is an embarrassing elimination to Salford. No matter how the game went, we've gone out of the cup at this stage. It's over for us in this one. But hopefully now it opens their eyes and makes them get more deals done tomorrow. Absolutely tomorrow. No idea about Tanaka and Kamara. Hopefully, we'll get some news about them tomorrow. That there's been absolutely nothing today. Tanaka was shown back in training today. Not heard anything more about Kamara. So hopefully, we get those two wrapped up in the next tomorrow. That would be great. Paul saying infuriating, to be honest. Yet and again, another embarrassment. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And yeah, that's the point, Render. That team, though, shouldn't be drawing with Salford in no way. I 100% agree. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't have gone out today. It should have been comfortable, but we didn't take our chances. We didn't create enough clear-cut chances as well. there wasn't enough killer instinct. And plus, we ran into a hot goalie today in Alex Kearns, who was super inspired. Still no excuse, but look, there's nothing we can do about it now. We're out the cup. We've got to concentrate on the rest of the transfer window, which is much more important, and move on to the next game against Sheffield Wednesday. As anybody, if anyone else hasn't got anything else, okay, let's talk about this because a few people have said this. Nigel Reed wasn't impressed with Darlow. I hear it. I do hear it. I don't know what it may be with Cardano, if he needs a run of games or not. But was that their first shot on target? Let me know. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was their first shot or maybe their second one. But whatever it was against the run of play. It's a set piece and it goes in, and it's kind of the story of our last year, or so, even with Melier in goal. But I don't know. He didn't have a lot to do within the game, and maybe he was a little bit cold. I don't know. I'm not talking about cold as in cold. I mean cold as in playing time. Just so we get there, get that clear. Karen saying disappointed in Darlow. Rob is saying Darlow can't command the area. It's funny though, because that was one of his strengths when he first came. It was his commanding of the area. I don't know what it is. Yeah, German. I don't think anyone is judging him by his penalty kicks. I would hope not, because penalties are penalties. The penalty shootout is that. Listen, I've given Shackleton my man of the match today, and he missed the deciding penalty. So for me, penalties don't come into it. But I can understand with a few people, especially with that penalty that went through his hands. I mean, come on, the car. You had to get that on. And even he knew it, man. He punched the ball down and everything else like that. He knew. Yeah. Yeah. Damar saying it's the Leeds effect. Yeah. Jed as well saying Darlow's distribution wasn't the best either. Yep, I've got to say that as well. I agree with you, Jed. Talked about Melier and his slow distribution. Darlow wasn't much quicker today. I don't think distribution is much of his strength, though. I think it's more just his general keeping, shot stopping, catching of crosses. But yeah, it wasn't good today. Steel S. 400k seems a rip-off now. Lord have mercy. But yeah, listen, people, I'm going to end it there. I don't want to go too long today because, as you know, there's going to be plenty of content coming over the next few days in the transfer window. We've gone out in the cup. Jed Spence is on his way. The Amiri deal is off. Leave your thoughts below of anything discussed today or what have you. And I'll see you in the next video, people. Please hit a like before you go, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I'm back on again, people. Have a good night, day, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, people.